Hey, look, it's us.
Hey,
I
we're
pushed the
live.
button.
Yay! That's
Things
exciting.
happened. That is
Yay!
exciting. Look at us.
So is
Like,
this officially the first month down of having GOAT Gaming Syndicate?
yeah,
That is
yeah,
exciting.
it is. I'm totally stoked. Like, this exploded way bigger than I thought it was gonna go.
Mm.
Um, I had the idea of making the network, but I didn't realize that it would be so large. Like, it would actually become something so cool.
Well, it's interesting because uh, I think tabletop games have always been here. However, Critical Role has put D&D on the map, but it's also put the idea that it's not the only tabletop board game out there. And I don't even
Exactly.
think it was the first. So I think that between those two things, there definitely is a place for Goat Gaming Syndicate for the people who are very specific to D&D and sticking with a module, or people who are playing like anything else.
Hmm. I
Um,
agree with
so
that.
yeah, which is super exciting. So what are your hopes for Goat Gaming Syndicate like going forward for 2022?
For 2022, I hope we survive. You know, not to sound too crass, but I got a little bit delayed with the news of Betty White and everything, so it was kind
Yeah,
of sad. And
yeah.
yeah, we're just dealing with that. But for Goat Gaming, I hope that we can really get out to people that there's more than just D&D. I hope that
Mm.
we can stream enough games to really get attention on other stuff and to grow, of course, you know.
Yeah. um, that to lighten it up, but also go back to the Betty White thing. One of the things we definitely have the Star Trek that's going to be consistent on Wednesday nights. We're a couple months into the one Star Trek, the first one that we've done, and you're going to be starting another one here in February, correct?
Yep.
And then that should be every Wednesday.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Every Wednesday. Same it's just sometimes you've got, well, I mean, take Star Trek for example. You had the original series, and then that switched over to the next generation, which switched over to Voyager, and that's kind of my intention with Star Trek. And we're going to have new crews and new ships, and some of the crews might be a little bit more serious than others. Not everybody can be gunslinging, gas teleporting, Klingon frat boying.
But they're gonna die trying.
They will. They will. I'm really impressed with how Star Trek. I was really nervous about how it was going to play out, honestly, because it's kind of more of a serious sci-fi genre, in my opinion. But you jumped on it, you took it a whole different direction, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't get the memo that it was supposed to be serious when we started. Didn't get that memo.
Intentionally left blank. Uh, but
Yeah.
for anybody that doesn't know about Goat Gaming, basically we are I don't want to use the word conglomerate, but we are a network of creators from every facet of entertainment. We've got TikTokers, YouTubers, voice actors, musicians, just entertainers in general.
Mm.
And we are just trying to produce some of the best tabletops that we can. Um, DC30 asks if can I play a shittily made Android and do my best Alexa impression. I would like that. I would like that very much. Like a female Data that just didn't get built quite right. I like that.
It sounds like something someone may have put in one of our recent Star Wars games, actually. That was not on GOAT Gaming Syndicate, but
Right.
uh, and going to what you're saying is that there's like a conglomerate of people who either have existing shows that are promoted within the GOAT Gaming Syndicate, or they have a show that may be exclusive to GOAT Gaming Syndicate if they don't have, uh, a place already, or we want to make a place for it on our network.
Exactly.
And there's a place for both. So it's going back to rest in peace Betty White. I had talked about recently doing like just funny, silly one shots. And could you imagine if there's a Golden Girls one shot? I mean, technically, D&D has roots in the Golden Girls
I mean,
already. So I feel
that
like
would be amusing. That would be
in her
cool.
in her honor, I feel like though in this circumstance, like when we had our Star Wars one shot, everyone wanted to be Boba Fett, and I feel like in this circumstance, everyone would want to be
Betty
Betty
White.
White, which
Yeah.
I'm not against for like a 5-person Betty White party.
I feel like very little would get done because everybody would just be trying to tell their best Saint Olaf story.
I failed to see an issue here, Ray.
That's fair.
But
That's fair.
who would be the GM? Blair.
Oh, absolutely.
Blair. For
Trying to
sure.
run a serious campaign that the players just are goofing off the whole time.
Mhm.
I feel like that's probably the route it would go. Which, talking about what you just said, everybody playing Star Wars, which that was ran by a friend of ours who is in GOAT Gaming.
Mhm.
He's David DeSanto. He's the CEO and creator of Shattered Dawn. And he's got a side podcast, I guess, if you want to call vodcast, that's on YouTube, and that's called Shattered Dungeons.
Mm.
It's at his company is Shattered Tabletop Gaming. And anyway, on Tuesday nights they go live, and I have the privilege of playing with them. And my current character is, well, she's a troll, but she's
Is
an
that
old lady.
she's an old what?
She's an old lady.
That's the one that had the blush on the cheeks
Yes.
and the wig and the whole like you stopped at nothing for that original character.
No, not at all. Like I knew what I was going for and I chased it.
Nailed it.
Her name is Bubby Mimi. So that's a lot of fun to play that character. She's a bit out there. But anyway, I digress. So he runs the Star Wars game that you had referred to, where everybody wanted to be Boba Fett, which
Mhm.
leads me into the next part, which is that we have two members of GOAT Gaming that are trying to start Star Wars games as well. One is a Saga edition, the other one is a revised edition.
Mm.
So there's going to be a lot of Star Wars going on.
Yeah, that's kind of funny too because when we first originally started this, we knew we had Star Trek and we knew we had Star Wars, and there was an alternative, I think, D&D homebrew that was set in space. And
Yeah.
one of the original things I had asked you, I had said, is this going to be a sci-fi only thing? And you're like, well, it doesn't have to be. I'm like, well, right now it is. And we're like,
Yeah.
well, we all like sci-fi stuff, but are we going to open it up? We're like, yeah, we should open it up. And so since then, I'm glad, I don't think we ever would have made it just sci-fi, but there
No.
definitely is an abundance of people who enjoy sci-fi for sure. Like
Right.
recently, one of the members, Allie, she proposed doing a Doctor Who one shot where there's one
Exactly.
doctor and everyone's a companion.
Which I love that idea. I
Isn't
think
that
that's
perfect? I want to see her
absolutely
GM
amazing.
that.
Right? That would be cool. And that's one of the difficult things that we have to contend with is you kind of only have one of two ways to go. You're either doing fantasy or you're doing sci-fi. Like it kind of seems like that's where we're at. But
Mhm.
you managed to think outside of the box with the one shot ideas. And your list of one shots has me dying.
They're ridiculous. So I really want to, going back to the sci-fi, not sci-fi, but I am dedicated to doing a Spaceballs one shot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Baseball's 1.5. But yeah, I think that, I think one of the members in the Go Gaming Discord, they had mentioned the vampires versus dinosaurs. And I'm like, boom,
Yes,
VTM, vampires, the meteor shower. Like
that's it.
that could be a one shot. Like that's the thing about one shots. They can be silly, they can be fun. And I think that that does cater to a particular niche of players because some of us have a packed schedule and we want to
Yeah,
play more games. We just don't have the time and effort. And while we do want to get into that character creation and we want to grow with the party and we want to level up, some of us just want to play and we're okay knowing that we're going to get 90 minutes and we're done. It's going to be vampires versus dinosaurs, but we're signing up for it ahead of time and we're okay with it. Or, maybe we're in therapy with barf, whatever it is.
right,
So,
right.
I think there's a place for that as well. And also, and I don't know if you agree with this because you have more GM experience than I do, but knowing that you're going into GM for the first time, let alone online for 90 minutes, where it's just a silly thing where people can have fun, to me is a lot less intimidating than knowing that you have this campaign that's like already set up in a module and people already know about it and they can read up on it. What are your thoughts on
Yeah.
that?
That's it's definitely true because you don't know if you've translated it well enough or if you've got that right feeling that you're trying to encapsulate. Like because I'm sitting here thinking about the vampires versus dinosaurs, and it's like, is it vampire people versus dinosaurs, or or do you take it one step further and all of the players are dinosaurs that just happen to be vampires as well? Because
Insert
a vampire T-Rex is terrifying.
And I like my brain first goes to like the meme of why not both or both. Yeah,
Yeah.
both. Both is good.
Yeah, both's good.
Just
That's good. We got a little bit of lag in my chat here, but we got DC30S. My problem is total lack of awareness on the rules for those other systems. Could you do like a crash course? Well, of course we could. Crashing is what we do best.
yes, second only to airlocking problems. Yeah, no.
Even
Uh
if it's just a busted tricorder, you just
yeah, so that was something that Ray and I we kind of talked about a little bit was that if it was an ongoing thing and people didn't want to be as intimidated about dropping into it, Ray said that there are two tabletop role play game systems that are fairly easy to pick up. And so what I had proposed was that if you're going to do these one shots based on media, you could do like a watch party one week. So if anyone needed a refresher on this Tuesday, hypothetically speaking, you could watch Spaceballs knowing that you would have your character and what have you for the next week. And the two systems that Ray knows about are pretty easy. It's like
oh
pass
yeah.
fail rolls, and there's not like it's not heavy on the modifiers, it's not heavy on too many specifics. Do you want to talk more about those?
Yeah, I can do that. So actually, that kind of is a nice segue into. So tomorrow, I'm going to be running one of those game systems called Those Darker Places, or sorry, Those Dark Places, and it's billed as a industrial sci-fi. So think like Aliens. Um, and basically, it's like super simple. Creating a character takes like 2 minutes. There is a hit point system, but it basically runs off of you roll your d6s, and if you get a certain number, you hit. You deal 1 point of damage. The most hit points that you can have is 4. So it's meant to be it's meant to bring back that sense of danger, like, oh, my character really could die. So that's kind of fun. It's going to be great to run that tomorrow. I'm excited for the crew. Um, it's going to be a blast. And so that's one system, like I said, super simple. It's a d6 system. I think the most d6s that you will ever roll is like 3. Um, so like the pools are real small, things like that. The other one is one that I bought specifically to play with my kids, and it ended up just being so easily adaptable that I think we could use it for anything. And it's called Amazing Tales. And basically you have 4 things that you get to pick that your character is good at. And each one of those is assigned to a certain die. So you've got like a D12, a D10, a D8, and a D6. And as long as you roll a certain number, which I think it's like the two highest numbers on the die, it passes. I might have that backwards. It might be the two lowest and you fail. I'll have to read the book again. Like I said, the book itself, I think, was like 30 pages, but my kids absolutely loved it. And the first game we ever did, we did it Dungeons and Dragons style. The second time we played it, it was sci-fi. I mean, so many options. And
Yeah.
I think, but the thing with that one is there's no hit points. There's no like damage ratings or anything like that. It's very narrative. It's very RP. So
And I
those are
think
the
that,
two systems I proposed.
and I think that's also pretty nice when you have like these drop-in style kind of games. Because if you have two a month, and you have people who are either rotating in or dropping in, you can actually get into the game that's kind of in your niche or what you like. So, maybe you don't know anything like Doctor Who. Like, I don't know anything about Doctor Who, but I know about Spaceballs, or what were some of the other? You had suggested a labyrinth one
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah. That was mainly we have a member in our chat here, sucks to be Sam. She doesn't like Muppets, and I thought a labyrinth game would be a fun way to poke at her buttons. I don't think I would actually do it. I played a Muppet in that Shattered Dungeons game
Mm,
before the old lady. I was a puppet.
nice. Was that the little white one that I saw?
Yeah, that was Sog. He was a belligerent puppet on a PG-13 show, so all of my swear words got bleeped out. It was fun. It was good times. He was hostile. He was a very angry puppet.
It's
But yeah,
understandable.
so Labyrinth, that would be fun though. Like a Labyrinth game, you just run around being goofy.
Yeah, and I think that's, I think, and I don't, part of me enjoys that aspect of one shots because I have my long term campaigns where, yeah, there's an element of being silly, but you're growing together, you're learning together, you're doing all of these things together. And so you, you're not, I would say that, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but when I'm in a long term campaign, I'm more cautious or I'm more thoughtful. Not that I'm not thoughtful in one shots, but I know it's just a one shot.
Yeah, I
And
got you.
so I can be a little more brazen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that almost plays into how you play Cordelia Kit because this isn't meant to be like a super long Star Trek game. We knew going into it was kind of a mini thing, but
Mhm.
I love the way Cordelia Kit captains the ship. Like what would you say is your largest inspiration for that character?
Oh, hmm. Oh, that's hard. I Oh gosh, that's tough because, well, I would say that I wanted to play a character that's 180 from all of my other characters. So DC30, he knows he's the GM of our Theros campaign that we do every Sunday, and
Which is
I
a great
place,
show.
yeah, it's
Follow them on
really
Twitch. Plug.
super informative. Just a lot of information on Greek mythology and Theros followed along, MTG thrown in there. It's a really well crafted campaign. But that character is a professor at a university, and she is like the logic in the party. And I'd say 9 out of 10 campaigns that I'm in, I wouldn't say I'm like the mother character, but I definitely wanted a character that was not the person you'd want to be the mother in your
Achievement. Like,
yeah, achievement unlocked, Cordelia
yeah.
Kit. And so originally, part of it was that I'm like, it's been so when you originally approached me, you had sent me like 2 questions. Do I want to play? And I'm like, yeah, I can play. And then you had said, how much do you know about it? And I didn't answer that I didn't know a lot, that it had been years since I had watched anything. And so I'm like, and then you just followed up, do you want to be the captain? I'm like, fucking A, let's go. I'm like, let's go. And so
Why
it just,
not?
I'm like, to have, and so, I don't think that it's an unknown trope or like archetype to be like the bumbling manager. the person who's like doesn't know what's going on or
Yeah.
people don't respect, but I definitely leaned into that because I'm like, if I have all of these characters, so I wouldn't say it was like one inspiration, but just wanting to play something different.
Okay. Which ironically, everyone has taken to like following you around kind of Mother Duck style, which I don't even know how that happened. But one of my favorite parts when we're doing the show is watching everyone's faces, because sometimes somebody says something that just you can tell catches everybody off guard. If you go to our TikTok, the GOAT Gaming Syndicate TikTok, you can see that in the most recent one. Like, I think it was Cordelia and Lieutenant Hickser, played by Allie. Both of them were like, because somebody mentioned using nerve gas. And it's like, whoa, that was out of left field. But I love the character. You do great with it.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is that I I wouldn't say there's inspiration from Guardians of the Galaxy, but I wanted like I think that that might have been one of the inspiration things because, like you said, Star Trek can be one of the more serious sci-fi shows. However, you have like the sci-fi element. I would say in Guardians of the Galaxy, but it also has all of this like pop culture reference
Yes.
like aspects. And so I kind of like took inspiration from that, where you can have like this plot and you can have this thing that is in many ways 100% you know, relatable to the content or Star Trek, but also have like an occasional reference to things like, you know, like I said, like what would Khan do? Which, you know, WWJD is a like just like a millennial phrase, you know, but to say like what would Khan do, or, you know, the idea of emotional support pets wasn't necessarily a thing that was well known when Star Trek started. And then to add like the idea of an emotional support tribble is not only ridiculous, but also it's like relatable to the series and like a throwback. Um, yeah. Yeah. So I think that those are both things. But one of the things that's also funny is that, I mean, I know the least out of everyone on the cast about it, but it's funny because there's like this line between what I know and doing things intentionally. And then the cast not knowing whether or not I'm joking. And so, like, this last one, I had said, like, we were on the bridge, we were talking about what we should do. And I said, all those in favor, raise your hand and say aye. And it's completely ridiculous. And, like, after the show, our chief of engineering was like, you know, they've never done that on Star Trek. And I'm like, not until this week, you know, just
not
like,
yet.
Not yet.
Just, well, you know, there's that new show out that's Lower Decks, and I feel like our show kind of is on par with that, maybe a little bit more silly, but you know, it's just got that same level of ridiculousness that like this isn't the Star Trek show that your grandparents and your parents and maybe even you earlier in life grew up watching. You know, this is a whole new beast that we've got going.
Right. I have. Yeah. Yep.
You know, and I'd like to take a moment just to kind of talk about, you know, earlier I said all of the entertainer types that we have that are part of the GGS. I would like to kind of break it down a little bit more specifically so that people know where to go to check things out. So, you know, first, obviously, like we said, we've got DC30. They stream on Twitch on Sundays. They've got a really amazing Theros campaign. It's kind of a Greek inspired amazingness. So you definitely, you're going to want to check that out. The GM is very knowledgeable and, you know, interactive and just animated. And then of course my cohort here, Rebecca Boom, you are on the TikToks as Mimic for Hire.
Yes. Yep.
And you have some crazy videos on there.
I'm going to, I know we only have 3 more episodes of the this silly Star Trek before you start your more serious, like, I wouldn't say legitimate one, but you know. Yeah.
Legitimate.
We're legitimate.
Less people will die.
maybe, I don't know. So we have kind of train of thought here.
We've got 3 episodes left.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
where
we have
you
3
were at.
episodes left, and I made probably like 15 Star Trek TikToks last night. So those will definitely be posted. So I am Bomb Clancy everywhere on the internet except for TikTok, where I mimic for hire. And yeah, so
Right.
I will be posting more content. Definitely
Noise.
tabletop roleplay game stuff, you know.
Yeah. And then, I kind of called her out earlier with Sucks to Be Sam and exposed her fears to the world. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was a secret. You can't trust me with these things. I'm terrible like that. But what's not a secret is that Sam and Adam are a duo on TikTok
Ooh.
under the Tabletop Tavern, and they have these awesome like D&D journals that
cool.
have like they're very like class specific, and like you can buy them on Amazon. They're great quality. They're amazing. Sam uses one when we play our Across the Pond game, which is a earlier afternoon D&D game that I set up to try and help out our UK members who, they're on a much different time zone than us. So, that's huge. Definitely check them out. Dice Baby TV. You can find them on Twitch, and you can see them on TikTok as well. Really good stuff. I watched one of the Dice Baby's streams the other day where he was like building this building in a program, and it was crazy how quickly he was doing it. He's just like, I was like, holy cow. So definitely check out that. Lots of great content there. Halfling
Waldo.
Haven.
Oh, yep.
Halfling Haven. Sadie is a amazing person. She's going to be running a D&D game for us in GGS, and it promises to be a little bit on the disturbing side, so I'm eager to see how that plays out. And there's just so many. I'm trying to think of Rainbow Mike Gaming. There we go. There's another. Mercedes is a voice actor. She is wild and crazy. She streams on Twitch. She plays like horror games, and one of my favorite things to do is she has sound alerts. So I like to lurk in the chat until like something scary happens, and then I claim like a scream or something, and she always jumps out of her seat. It's hilarious to me. I find it so amusing. We've got David, like I said, David from Shattered Tabletop Gaming. We stream Tuesday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. So many. I can't even remember them all. But we do. We have an amazing group of people. So
yeah, so I'm super glad that we were. I know this is like super random, and I know that as we grow, we're going to get probably more solidified with our GMs or like the games and schedule that are on this GOAT Gaming Syndicate channel, and then we will then also continue to promote the other channels as well underneath the like conglomerate, I guess, syndication of everybody together.
Exactly.
And the way the Discord is set up now, each GM has their own area, and it's pretty nice because you can.
Yeah, some people said they need a tutorial because there's so much information. Which
there is, but for good reason, because we have so many awesome GMs. It's like we got to a point a couple weeks after we started where we had more GMs than players, and we were like, oh my god, we want to play this wrestling game. We want to play, this mouse guard. We want to play this. We want to play that. It's like, oddly enough, usually people say that the biggest issue with finding people is finding the time or the schedule. And we have this one part of the Discord where you can see people are available to play 7 days a week. There are people available to play in UK time zones and, US time zones. We have Aussie players, and yet we don't have the players somehow for all of the games. It's like, oh, wait. Going back to what we said earlier, should we keep this sci-fi? Well, no.
Yeah. Like,
because
oh,
clearly there's there's so
we
so
did it
many things.
backwards. We did it backwards.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
I agree, but it'll grow. And you know what, we had kind of talked about, and I think one of the things going into 2022 that you can expect out of GGS is that we're going to kind of narrow it down to a few core GMs,
mhm,
and they're going to be our GGS GGDMs. You know, they're going to have access to the stream. They're going to be doing their games live streamed and everything. And you know, depending on how big and fancy we get, we might be able to look into other options for those people as far as, you know, maybe getting reciprocated for their
mhm.
time.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's still these are long-term goals, but I mean, we've got 13 amazing, lovely viewers right now that I can see on StreamYard. I can't tell on Twitch itself. But these people, I've never seen a better community. And when we opened the floodgates to GGS, I was so nervous because I thought we were going to have to weed people out, you know, that like the first week we were going to have all these problems because we were just kind of like, hey, come on in, let's get to know each other. But this group has just come together, jived, vibed. Everybody's amazing. I love talking to everybody in the server. There's such a dynamic difference in everybody, but yet this commonality of nerddom. So I love it. Love every minute of it. You know, and as I always said, a GM is only as good as their players. So I as a GM personally feed off of the energy of the players. So in our Star Trek game, if y'all are wiling out and getting crazy and blowing stuff up, I'm going to reciprocate that energy. You know, if you're feeling kind of low and just like, I'm just taking a chill day, then I'm going to be a chill day too. So I just, you all are great players, and everybody that's in our community is amazing. So if that's one of the things you're worried about is coming into our community and just being bombarded, you will be. You'll be bombarded with love. These people, primo, chef's kiss. But I think we can just wrap up the stream here. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for coming and chatting with me and keeping me company. Because me talking for 30 minutes straight, I mean that's like watching one of my D&D podcasts, and that's probably why we have low views. Who am I to say? Oh, I think your mic turned off or
So
something.
one last thing. So yeah. I'm so glad that we were able to do this because part of the thing to get affiliate um, is to have the average number of viewers, and then we'll be able to like edit the panels, and also you get a few more things with affiliate, like clipping and things like that, which makes it easier for us to share this content and get things out there. And I think the last thing that I have is what time. So this channel tomorrow, you
Yep,
have a
2
50
p.m.
follow.
CST.
Okay.
It is our 50 follower celebration stream, which we will be playing Those Dark Places by Jonathan Hicks.
Mm.
And it's a wild, easy game, but it's gonna be kind of crazy. I downloaded some extra special things to use during the stream, so make sure to tune in and check it out. It's gonna be nuts. And make sure to go over to Mimic for Hire on TikTok and watch these videos, especially the airlock one. That one had me rolling.
It's a good time. I've got some more. I have some more up my sleeve, but
Yes, I too am preparing some more.
all right.
I slacked off on that during the holidays, and I got beat up for it when we streamed. So don't worry, more's coming. More's coming on GGS TikTok.
Yeah.
But thank you all very much for tuning in, checking this out. Thank you, Rebecca. Love you all so much. Can't wait to see you in our games. Come join our community if you're tuning in to check this out. We'd love to have you. We're looking for players.
Yeah.
See you all later. Bye.
Bye.